After the first quarter, San Diego State has a lead. They have won 13 straight when leading after the first quarter. Time to check out our Phillips 66 Athlete of the Week. Calvin Munson, the senior from St. Charles, Missouri. Amazingly, 3 of his 6 career interceptions returned for touchdowns. But, you know, it's October. It's football season and baseball season. So we show you Calvin Munson. He told us the fastball was right around 92. And he's a Missouri guy, so the Cardinals took him 31st round, even though he was, he said he was committed to football, but one of those, might as well draft him and see if he wants to come play baseball. But Munson's been a solid football player. Myers' deep shot incomplete. That was intended for Gerald Bright. His fire from Myers. Oh, by the way, scoreless at Wrigley, game 3.
I'll tell you what, if Calvin Munson keeps it up, he might get drafted in the NFL as well. Just a really good box player, 6'1", 245 pounds, perfect for a Mike linebacker on first and second down in the NFL. Probably somebody that could help you in special teams and make any roster better.
Second straight 3 and out for Utah State. Truxton calls for the fair catch. As it at the 31, there is a flag down. Keep this in mind in the punt game. Utah State, 3rd worst in the nation in net punting yards. We'll check the flag. Referee Marvell July.
Aggies better be careful. They need some juice. Then back-to-back 3 and outs.
OD. Team number 82. The 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, San Diego State.
Everybody's having problems with the microphones tonight. That is holding on the receiving team on San Diego State. And that's going to back them to the 21-yard line. So punt and then back-to-back scoring drives. The touchdown drive set up by Rashad Penny's 56-yard return.
Then they've gotten that running game going, over 100 yards in that first quarter. This front 7 for the Aggies were committed to being able to stop the run, not getting pushed around. But they need to kind of bow their neck and buckle up a little bit, because the Aztecs have been taking advantage both between the tackles and out on the perimeter.
A lot of talk from Utah State about how it wasn't going to be like last year when they gave up 336 on the ground to San Diego State. Well, this will help the Aggies' defensive effort. False start coming on Wells.
False start. Offensive number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Back-to-back penalties against the Aztecs.
That's a perfect way to kill some momentum that you have going on. That's David Wells. He's really struggled this year with penalties. One of the most penalized teams in the country, this Aztec teams, and David Wells, a tight end, among the worst culprits.
On 1st and 15, Pumphrey bounces it outside. He is tracked down, slips away from Levitt, but only gets a yard as Dallin Levitt immediately making his presence felt, coming back from the ankle injury.
This defense has certainly missed him, but the safeties have to get involved to be able to talk. You see him track perfectly. Really nice open field tackle. Again, you see Pumphrey frustrated. I think this wet field's affecting his ability to make guys miss.
12 carries, longest is 9 yards for Pumphrey. Give it to him again on 2nd and 14. A seam for Donnell Pumphrey, shaking his way across the 30-yard line. That'll be the biggest run of the night as he takes it to the 34 for an Aztec first down.
Now that's the Donnell Pumphrey we're used to seeing. Patient, watch the acceleration. Boom, sets his blocks up, the vision right there. Putting the foot in the ground at full speed. Tremendously hard to tackle when he gets to that second level.
17-yard gain. Canyon Springs High School in Las Vegas.
And that's a challenge for the Aggies. They had San Diego State because of the penalty behind the chains, but the Aztecs making up for it.
Play action. Chapman, deep shot, downfield for Judge, and it's incomplete. Good coverage on the outside by Daniel Gray.
Eric Judge hasn't had a catch in the last 3 games. One of the faster receivers that they have. Rocky Long his offense. These guys haven't stretched the field very much. The passing game certainly taking a back seat to their ability to run the football, but credit really nice coverage that time by Daniel Gray. He was in phase or in the hip pocket of Judge the entire time.
Aggies loading up for the run on 2nd and 10. Play action, and the turf is going to contribute to that incompletion as well. Intended for Parker Houston. He slipped as the football was delivered by Chapman.
Yeah, Kahale Waring's out for the year with a knee injury, so Houston's been getting a lot more roll, but he loses his footing on what would have been almost an assured completion on that spot route.
Chapman 1 for 4. That one not really on him, but it is -1 passing yard for San Diego State. And 3rd and 10.
Here's a really good opportunity for the Aggies to bring some pressure of their own.
On 3rd and 10, give it to Donnell Pumphrey. Room to run on the edge. Pumphrey across the 40. Shoved out as he picks up the first down. Even on 3rd and long. Give it to number 19.
When you get upfield, you pin your ears back. Sometimes you create really big rush lanes. That's exactly what happened here. Donnell Pumphrey's got above average speed. He's not a terrible burner, but certainly has enough to get to the corner, outrun the pursuit, and pick up a first down on 3rd and 10 with his legs.
2 yards away from 5th on the all-time list, but he gets a break. Jawan Washington in the backfield. Give it to Washington on the left side. So Washington is in there because of the injury to Rashad Penny on that big kickoff return. He had the touchdown for San Diego State, first of his career, and Pumphrey gets a much-deserved break for now.
Injury's been a problem all year for San Diego State on both sides of the ball. Lost Marcus Stamps early on to a knee injury. He's provided a lot of depth and been a perennial backup for this Aztec team and a reliable player at that position.
Christian Chapman on 2nd and 8. Gives it to Washington. Bounce it outside. Washington tripped up, maybe slips as he gets to near the 47. Haney credited with the tackle.
I thought there might have been a hold that time on the left tackle. Quade Miller gets beat inside a little bit right there. Just takes a hold of him, but Washington, the speedster, getting around that corner, getting north and south. But again, there's a footing issue, not necessarily a slip, but trips up a little bit.
Pumphrey back in for 3rd and short.
Could be play action.
Pumphrey takes it, has a first down. Move the chains again and move Donnell Pumphrey up one more spot on the all-time FBS rushing list. That's 84 rushing yards in the first half for Pumphrey, and he moves into 5th place on the all-time list. The senior who was recruited by most schools as a defensive back. San Diego State gave him the opportunity to be a running back, and he's 5th all-time. Chapman on play action. He will be chased out of bounds for a loss. Chapman hobbled as he gets up. Tommy Guy is going to be credited with the sack. We had a conversation with Rocky Long about the recruitment of Donnell Pumphrey, and there's a lot of coaches who would tell a big story about how brilliant they were about recruiting Donnell Pumphrey as a running back. In Rocky Long fashion, he said, hey, Jeff Horton, our offensive coordinator who recruited him, said he could play. His high school coach, Hunky Cooper, who's now on the Aztec staff, said he could play. So I trust those guys. I figured the kid could play. And guess what? He's 5th all time on the rushing yards list. But that is classic Rocky Long downplaying the recruitment of Donnell Pumphrey, one of the unquestionably all-time great running backs in the history of college football. Now 5th place on the all-time list.
San Diego State.
And one of the things that makes him so great is that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. We talked about that physical element to his game. He does all the things that you can do as a running back. Got vision, patience, burst, but the acceleration and the ability to make people miss in the open field is what really stands out. We are so lucky to have an opportunity to see one of the best running backs in the country. San Diego State up by 3.
As some chilly rain begins to fall again here in Logan, Utah. Dare I say, almost.
We're not. It's not snow yet.
It is nearing what they would call a wintry mix. Snows in the high elevations here in the Cache Valley, so the Aggie crowd has to break out the ponchos. 2nd and 13 here. San Diego State football coming out of the Aztec timeout. Humphreys in the slot. Chapman under center. Quick hitter the other way, and it's complete inside the 40-yard line. That's the true freshman tight end, Parker Houston. Haney makes the stop on Houston to bring up 3rd down and manageable.
That quick underneath passing game for the Aztecs has been very effective, particularly of the tight ends. When you're a quarterback that struggles with the intermediate and the deep routes, the tight end is your friend because he's a nice big target and he's close to the football. This is typically the area where San Diego State will go for it on 4th down. So depending on what they do here, the Aggies really need to be able to try and bring some pressure.
11th play of the drive. Chapman flushed from the pocket. He'll scramble, and he will pick up the 1st down with his legs. The sophomore from Carlsbad, the 2-time All-Avocado League selection, Christian Chapman.
The Aggies just got themselves out of position. Nobody has contained. This is the 2nd time on 3rd and long on this drive that we've seen the Aggies get out of position, and some nifty running out on the perimeter pick up a 1st down by the Aztecs. First time was Pumphrey, and that time it was Chapman.
Look at the 4 passing yards, 158 rushing for San Diego State. Pumphrey straight ahead on the 1st down. And when we talked to the Aggies, they said, hey, we feel like a cold, rainy environment favors us. San Diego State said, you know what? We feel like a cold, rainy environment favors us because, I mean, we know exactly what San Diego State's going to do. That pass versus run bears it out.
They're built for it. And to win on the road, Carter, you got to bring your run game and your defense, and that happens to be something the Aztecs are very good at.
Chapman tossed to Pumphrey on 2nd down. Inside the 20, another 1st down. Pumphrey keeps rolling to near the 10-yard line. Finally, Rockamore brings him down. In the rain, Pumphrey gets 16 more.
When you're running the football the way that San Diego State is tonight, you talk about getting lathered up. You start to feel it. You get the mojo. They're just chipping away at this defense. The pursuit isn't there. And when you watch the body language of the Aggies, there's some hands on the hip. They're not playing with a sense of urgency that they need to. Now, to their credit, they forced a field goal the last time San Diego State was down here. That would be a huge win if they could do that again here on this drive.
7th straight 100-yard game for Donnell Pumphrey. On 1st and goal, nothing there. Huerta, and here's your modus operandi for the Aggie defense. Force another field goal attempt.
They talked about the need to win in the red zone. If you can give up a lot of yards in the field, that's called bending, but you can't break and afford to give up a touchdown. They like to use a lot of play action and naked boots here down with the tight ends. So defensively, the Aggies have to be disciplined with their eyes and bow their neck in the run game and cancel the gaps. For Donnell Pumphrey, who has enough speed to hurt you on the outside.
15th play goes to Pumphrey on 2nd and goal. Inside the 10, it will be 3rd and goal for San Diego State. Larson makes the stop along with Levitt.
Dallin Levitt from that boundary safety position, forcing Pumphrey to get back inside so the pursuit can come. And once again, I can't overstate it, the footing tonight has been a factor for Donnell Pumphrey. Now, it hasn't limited his production, but he has been losing his footing. This is a huge 3rd down, and I think a play that could turn this game if the Aggies can find a way to get a stop here.
3rd and goal in the heavy rain, and Utah State will use a timeout prior to this huge third down play. San Diego State leads it by 3. Matt Wells uses a timeout. 3rd and goal when we come back to Logan. 3rd and goal coming up, but time for tonight's Nissan Heisman Watch. Later on tonight, the guys in New York get you up to date on leading Heisman contenders, weigh in on who they think will take home the sport's most coveted trophy. What do you think, AT?
It's Lamar Jackson's to lose, but I wanted to add Jabril Peppers and Jonathan Allen because I think it's time that the country and the voters start to recognize some of the outstanding performances on the other side of the ball. Jabril Peppers is just a playmaker. We know how good Alabama's defense is. 7 different players scoring touchdowns. Jonathan Allen has 2, virtually unblockable against Texas A&M. There are some really good football players out there on both sides of the football.
Heisman contender Donnell Pumphrey in the backfield for 3rd and goal. Now he'll motion into the slot. Christian Chapman. Flushed. Rolling. In zone. It is caught for a San Diego State touchdown. Quest Truxton hauls it in. And the Aztecs in the rain on 3rd and goal go to the pass game. Chapman to Quest Truxton. First touchdown for Truxton as an Aztec.
Just in one-on-one coverage. That time beating Cameron Haney, but 2 pass breakups a week ago against Fresno State, which is a beautifully thrown ball and a great catch to lay out for it by Truxton. Saw him make a play earlier. But once again, a breakdown by the Aggies outside, losing contain is what allowed Chapman to get outside and complete that ball to 85.
Donnell, yeah, he'll do some talking too.
I love it, man. I mean, going back to what you were talking about, the recruiting process.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
All right, so we are going to double check, and our replay official, David Dumas, is going to have a look to make sure that Truxton completes this catch.
Well, the ruling on the field is a touchdown. It looks good to me. I think the officials made the right call the first time. Remember, in college football, every play is reviewed, particularly touchdown plays. Look at the concentration in the rain. You see the rain coming down. That ball is wet, but he goes down and secures it all the way down with his body. Looks beautiful. 16th play of this drive, Carter, is a touchdown for the Aztecs.
Good looks. And that sure appears to be a confirmation of a touchdown grab for Truxton. That was a 10-yard touchdown pass. Chapman to Truxton, if it stands. Prior to that play, the Aztecs had 4 passing yards in the game. And then play action 10-yard touchdown to Truxton. It's just the 10th passing touchdown of the year for San Diego State. That is the sole discretion of the replay official, David Dumas, as to whether that touchdown's upheld. Here's the call.
After review, ruling on the field stands as call, touchdown.
To make it 16 straight for San Diego State, PAT away from making it 17.
It's a beautiful drive on the road, converting 3rd downs. Quarterback Christian Chapman making plays with his legs. Some good blocking, some good methodical running of the football. San Diego State about to go up by 10.
178 rushing yards in the first half for San Diego State. But on 3rd and goal, it's to the air. Chapman, a sophomore with just his 10th passing touchdown this year, and it goes to Quest Truxton to make it 17-7. Aztecs in the rain in Logan. Utah State has run 13 plays from scrimmage. That last drive for the Aztecs, 16 plays.
Well, they're going to run a stunt here. Keep your eye on number 96, Christopher Unga. He's going to come outside, but he peeks inside right there. That's what allows Christian Chapman to break contain by a little bit of time and put the ball on the money to Quest Truxton. To play good defense, you have to set the edge. And once again, the Aggies being out of position cost them big time.
Look at that play selection. 6 passing, 1 of them for a touchdown. 178 rushing yards. We're still 6:33 away from the half. This game was 7-0 Utah State. Since then, 17 points for the Aggies, 1 yard. 17 points for the Aztecs, 1 yard for the Aggies. And with that, we tell you about the NFL on CBS. Regional action, including the big one between the Pats and the Bills. And then in the AFC West, San Diego at Denver. Opportunity for revenge for the Broncos and the Patriots. Of course, the win by Buffalo over New England was sans Tom Brady as part of that 4-game suspension. But could be a big swing in the AFC West with San Diego and Denver.
They won 3 other games without him. They were doing pretty good.
They were. You're right. Devontae Mays in the backfield. Last 2 Utah State possessions with 3 and out. Little juggle on the handoff, but Mays takes it across the 33-yard line. Finally brought down by Ryan Dunn.
This is huge for the Aggies here. If Devontae Mays can go, he's a heavy physical runner, 230 pounds, just a little bit smaller than some of the defensive linemen for the Aztecs. And in a game like this, with that rain coming down like it is, he'd be a nice addition to that backfield.
Utah State has the 2nd fewest turnovers in the nation. So when you talk about ball security and rainy weather, both these teams have been very good at not turning it over. And this is what we've talked about after the 7-0 start, nothing there on offense for the Aggies the last 2 drives.
And that's what really hurt them, those back-to-back 3-and-outs. When San Diego State got that running game going, the Aggies defense already giving up more rushing yards so far in this first half than they did in the entire game a week ago against Fresno State.
3rd and short. Mays is stood up, driven back. Alex Barrett leads the way as the Aztec defense stands its ground on 3rd and 1. And here comes the punt unit, the 3rd straight 3-and-out.
There's Alex Barrett. They're going to run a twist inside, and that penetration just beats the left guard, Jude Hockel, inside. And penetration is the kryptonite to the run game. Really nice job by the Aztecs getting off the field.
Punt safe for San Diego State. Quest Truxton calling for the fair catch. Goes to the ground to get it. That is a nice catch by Quest Truxton. Aztecs, 17 straight points.
Welcome back to beautiful Maverick Stadium. It is 17-7 San Diego State. And last week in the 2nd quarter versus San Jose State, safety Trevon Bieria was ejected for targeting with a helmet-to-helmet hit. And Pumphrey, despite his size and intensity of the hit, you'll see right here, it was a hard one, helmet-to-helmet. After this, guys, he laughed it off with his teammates and later said that it got him excited. And on the very next play, Pumphrey said he hit them with speed and sprinted to the end zone for a 27-yard touchdown. Guys, it was after that that Pumphrey found his rhythm. Kind of a strange moment.
You're right, and Jenny, that was such a moment to show what Donnell Pumphrey's made of. The toughness and then the attitude of, I'm not fazed. You even go crown of the helmet, get ejected. I'm going to come back, touchdown for Pumphrey. Now he's out of the game right now. Juwan Washington in there at running back as he takes it to near the 30. But that was yet another window into what makes this guy special, number 19 for the Aztecs.
And it goes back to recruiting. I mean, Hunky Cooper and having a couple coaches vouch for you. Nobody recruited him. They would walk to the school, look at him, and be like, this kid's too small, and leave. Nobody gave him a chance, and I think as a result, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. When people try to tell him he can't do something, he finds a way to prove them wrong over and over, to the degree that he may be the best running back in the history of college football at the end of this year.
On pace. Washington takes the 2nd down carry. Tripped up as he gets across the 32. So 3rd down coming up for San Diego State. Brock Carmen makes the stop. And John Trell Rockamore, the sophomore safety, is down for Utah State. We've already seen cornerback Jalen Davis go down for the Aggies. And Rockamore, and this is as they're bringing back Dallin Levitt missing 3 games with an ankle injury. So for Matt Wells, the 4th-year coach of Utah State, depth in the secondary becoming an issue.
Yeah, it looks like he just gets rolled up on there. And Rockmore, one of the key backups that came in when Levitt went out. He'd go in for Devin Centers, who'd slide over and play some nickel with Levitt being out. So there's been a lot of movement in this secondary. You mentioned it just a second ago, the Davis going down. If Rockmore's out for any extended period of time, the Aggies could be even more vulnerable defensively than they've been so far.
And with Rockmore heading to the sideline, you have 3rd and 5 coming up for San Diego State.
And on that last drive by the Aztecs, they were 4 for 4 on 3rd down and conversions of 10, 1, and 8 yards. And then the 10-yard touchdown down there at the goal line. They found ways to make the plays when they needed them, largely in part not only because of their execution, but the Aggies getting themselves out of position. Let's see if Utah State can correct some of that here on a pretty big 3rd and medium at the end of the 2nd quarter.
Aztecs came in tonight just 38% on 3rd down. 5 of 7, Pumphrey in there for 3rd and 5. Christian Chapman under center. Give it to Pumphrey on 3rd and 5 on the right side. Aggies are ready for him, and they stuff the hole. Ferguson leads the way, dropping Donnell Pumphrey. A gain of only 1. San Diego State will have to punt it.
Ferguson comes downhill expecting it's a power play, but that's the way you're going to fill the hole as a safety. Carter, we talked about this Utah State team needing to get some juice, somebody needing to step up a play. But guess what? 23, Ferguson just did that for his defensive unit.
Utah State had a punt block for a touchdown last week, and they are coming after this one in the rain. Tanner Blaine gets it away. Rodriguez is going to have to back up. Grabs it inside the 15, and he is wrestled down. Smith drags him down. Malik Smith. It's a 53-yard punt, making Donnell Pumphrey and the rest of San Diego State feel pretty good. As the rain continues to fall here in the Cache Valley, we're less than 3 minutes away from the Verizon Halftime Report. Send you back to New York. Brent, Christian, and Houston with an important Friday night update, as well as a preview of those big ones tomorrow, including Clemson, Florida State. That update is on USF. The Bulls up big on Navy right now. So coming into tonight, Navy was right near the top of this list of group of 5 teams in contention for New Year's 6. Not looking good for the midshipmen right now.
To get that bid to the New Year's 6, you have to be the highest rated conference champion. So to be a champion of your conference is one of the contingencies. And to your point, Navy's going to get scratched off, and that's why San Diego State finishing tough down the stretch is so important for this ball club.
Myers first down carry across the 20-yard line. That's a first down for Kent Myers. We check in with Jenny.
Yes, an update on safety Jontrell Rockmore for the Aggies. He's currently walking into the locker room on crutches. Guys, I brought him over here, looked at that right ankle, and then put an air cast on his right leg.
That does not look good for Rockmore and for the Aggies secondary. So Davis has gone down. Rockmore goes down. I mean, he's even just struggling to get to the locker room. That first down run by Myers, the first time they've moved the chain since the opening drive when the Aggies took a 7-0 lead. Lindsey gets a couple. But to your point about Utah State, I mean, you get a stop defensively. Now you need to capitalize to get back in this game.
And they did that on that first play call by getting Kent Myers' legs involved. He will take deep shots down the field, and when he does it, it's typically to the left. I think they have to be able to try and throw the ball down the field and hope to get either a catch or a pass interference call. But this offense isn't built on big plays. They're going to need to do something different to try and get an opportunity to score here.
Myers, there's the deep shot downfield, incomplete. It was intended for Lewis. Aggies average just over 10 yards per completion. That's one of the lowest percentages in the FBS. So trying to get it opened up a little bit more.
That time he was throwing into double coverage. San Diego State, Rocky Long's coached these guys up well. They know as safeties, you got to be deeper than the deepest and wider than the widest. And that was just really good coverage on that last play.
Third and 7. Kent Myers steps up, incomplete on 3rd and 7. Off the hands of the intended receiver, Ron Quaven Tarver. Here comes the Aggie punt unit again.
That ball was a little bit high enough, but remember, it's raining. It just hits him. Looks like stone hands right there. I don't think the ball was slippery. I think because of the contortion and him having to twist his body, it just threw the timing off a little bit. But that's a catch that the Aggies desperately needed offensively.
Dalton gets it away. Quest Truxton signals fair catch, makes it at the 30-yard line. So Utah State had the opening touchdown drive, 7-0. First time the Aztec defense had given up a touchdown in 3+ games, and they have responded since.
They're second in the country in rush yards allowed coming into tonight with a little over 93. You see Alex Barrett getting some penetration there. This 3-3-5 defense, 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, basically a nickel-type defense, but it's basically the option version of a defensive set. It makes identification really difficult, and it's built to take advantage of that speed. But you look at what it is this unit has been able to do tonight. They're playing tremendous football out on the road. Now it's time to see if the offense can continue to do and build off the success that it's had.
Give it to Donnell Pumphrey on the left side. Huge hole. Donnell Pumphrey on the edge. Slips back away from Levitt. Sheds a tackler. Pumphrey inside the 25-yard line. And Donnell Pumphrey has his biggest run of the night. Now 5th all-time on the rushing yard list, and he adds 45 more.
This is a toss, lead, sweep into the boundary, the short side of the field. There's the patience, there's the acceleration, there's all of the things that make Donnell Pumphrey one of the best backs in the country.
Last year, San Diego State rushed for 219 in the first half against the Aggies. Utah State said that cannot happen again. Tonight, Pumphrey's gone for 150. San Diego State has 229 rushing yards, and it's not yet halftime. Chapman to the air to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Michael Holder.
Like the change up after the big play on first down to take a play action shot into the end zone. Little grabby right there, but typically pretty good coverage that time by Daniel Gray again. Matt Wells can't be happy with the way his team's been playing. They've been banged up, getting hurt, but getting gashed on the ground. That was the one thing they told us they wanted to solve tonight, was not let themselves get pushed around, and that's exactly what's been happening.
Pumphrey gets maybe 1 on second down, so 3rd coming up.
That's part of the risk of trying to throw the football on first down. It goes incomplete. It's a very predictable play call on second down because you're trying to make up some yardage to give yourselves a makeable 3rd down. So now San Diego State's behind the chains. Can the Aggies make a play? I think they have to steal a possession, at the very least force a field goal, but nothing would be better here than to force a turnover, and the Aztecs aren't likely to give those up.
Good news for San Diego State. Rashad Penny back in the game in the backfield for 3rd and 9. Chapman setting up the screen. It's complete. Penny has it, but he is wrestled down by Dallin Levitt. Ferguson nails Chapman as he releases it, and Dallin Levitt, who spent 2 years at BYU, coming back from ankle injury. A terrific play from strong safety.
There he is. He's patrolling center field. Look at his eyes. They're so disciplined. He reads it right away. Takes a great angle and just a nice open field tackle on Rashad Penny, who came back into the ballgame.
Offense is staying on the field, but 2 seconds left in the half. So timeout. San Diego State with 2 seconds. So, I mean, you have John Barron, who, the sophomore, who has been really solid for San Diego State. 6 for 7 field goal kicking. His last 3 attempts are all from 47 and out, and all good. Now, I think maybe more than Barron, the kicker you worry about here is that snap and hold in the rain.
And we've seen some teams lose some ball games and special teams, most notably Ohio State a week ago. Execution here is vitally important, to your point.
Let me update what I just told you about Barron. He's now 7 for 8 kicking. The 3 previous kicks prior to tonight were 47 and out. So he had that short 21-yarder. And now this one with 3 seconds. A 41-yard field goal attempt coming. The holder is the punter, Tanner Blaine. Turner Bernard will snap it. But first, timeout, Utah State. Matt Wells, the former Rocky Long assistant. He was wide receivers coach at New Mexico when Rocky Long was the head coach. In fact, Matt Wells was on the last staff when Rocky Long surprisingly resigned his position at New Mexico, then came back as defensive coordinator San Diego State for Brady Hoke. Yeah, and Matt Wells, trim. He's still trim. In fact, both of them are still in good shape. They were Street Bowl at his alma mater, New Mexico, now in his 6th season at San Diego State. So he came out to San Diego as defensive coordinator for Brady Hoke, took over as head coach when Hoke went to Michigan. 41-yard attempt coming for John Barron. High snap, hold is perfect, and Barron boots it through with a big assist from Tanner Blaine, the holder. What a great job by Blaine to get that one down and allow Barron to boot it through to give San Diego State a 20-7 lead at the half. It's 20 straight points for the Aztecs.
This was perfect. Not easy to do in the rain. Sneaks inside that right goalpost as he faced it. The snap was high, but a brilliant hold there. And you see how excited they are to get those extra 3 points. If you're Utah State, you get the ball back to start the second half. You get a touchdown on that opening drive. It's a 1-score game.
20-7, San Diego State. Jenny is with Rocky Long.
Coach, you said this was going to be the most physical team that you faced all year. How have you been able to maintain the ground game so far?
Well, I think we're doing a nice job of blocking right now, and our running backs are doing a good job with running it. That doesn't mean it'll be that way the second half unless we continue to play that way.
How does the rain affect your game plan for the second half?
It shouldn't at all. As long as they keep the ball dry, everybody's fine.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
230 rushing yards in the first half, and the Aztecs scored 20 straight after they trailed at 7-0. 20-7 at the break. After the break, we'll send you back to New York for the Verizon Halftime Report. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico.